us in a little while. Machida's getting stitches, and
okay.
Shogun's dealing with the commission. So, gate of 1.9 million tonight, 16,000 attendance. No fighters went to the hospital tonight. I'll go through the bonuses with you guys. Submission tonight went to Stefan Struve. He won $60,000. Where's he at? Is he here? No? Well, congratulations to him. He'll be happy when he finds out. And then Pat Barry and Hardonk won fight of the night. They both won $60,000, and Pat Barry got the knockout of the night. He gets another $60,000, so he walks with $120,000 tonight extra. Who's first? No. He should have. He should have won it, but because he didn't make weight, he wasn't eligible for it. He would have won.
You agree with the final decision in the main event?
No, I thought Shogun won the fight.
And your thoughts on that co-main event? The referee stoppage?
You know what I think of Mazzagatti. I don't think that guy should be allowed to watch MMA, let alone referee it.
In terms of the main event, would you be interested in putting on a rematch?
Huh?
A rematch, the two fighters in the main event?
Yeah. There will be I think there will be a rematch in that fight. I talked to both of them. They're both agreed to a rematch.
How soon?
I don't know. I got to figure that out.
If you think Shogun deserves an immediate rematch.
Think who?
Shogun.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, an immediate rematch for Shogun. I had Shogun winning the fight, but one of the things I always tell these guys is you can't leave it in the hands of the judges. You just can't do it. At the end of every round, neither one of the guys went after it. Neither guy tried to steal the round. Machida is the champion, and the judges gave it to Machida tonight. And I'm sure you guys are well aware the Athletic Commission, judges, and refs could give a shit what I think. So my opinion means nothing.
Dana, can you articulate your reason for saying Shogun won? And then I just want to ask one of the fighters a question.
Yeah, I just, when you go round by round and you score the fight, I actually had Shogun winning Machida winning the fight up until the third round. First round could have gone either way. I gave the second and third to Machida, and then I gave the fourth and fifth to Shogun. So assuming that Shogun won the first, fourth, and fifth, he wins the fight. Was it a close fight? Yeah, it was a close fight. And the thing that I always say is, you saw it a lot in boxing, and these guys got to learn it in MMA, is when that 30 seconds is left, go after it, and somebody try to steal that round. And neither one of them did it throughout the fight.
If I could ask some of the fighters, Joe Daddy, Anthony, and Cain, if you guys can comment, if you saw the main event, what did you think of the scoring, and who did you guys think won the fight?
I saw bits and pieces of the fight. I was trying to do my P test, so that's what I was worried about. I just saw bits and pieces of the fight.
I thought Shogun won, honestly, with full heart. Not even being biased because Machida beat Rashad and he's my boy. I honestly thought Shogun won, and I thought it should have went to him. But you know what? Just like Dana said, you can't leave it to the judges. You can't at all.
Dana.
I feel the same way, I think.
Sorry, keep talking.
Okay. I feel the same way. I think Shogun won. Neither one of them went after it like they should have. But, it's over with now, and, you got to move on. If there's a rematch, I hope it's better than this last fight.
Dana, question. Dana, over here.
Hey.
Give me your thoughts on Cain tonight. He's only got 7 pro fights, and what do you think about it?
I think he's awesome, man. I've been saying ever since this kid started, I think he's a great fighter. I think he gets better every time he gets in there. Ben Rothwell was very, very motivated for this fight, and he believed that this was his destiny. This kid talked to me a million times, and he had a game plan. He had the size advantage, and he had the experience advantage tonight. And like I said before, people criticized Cain in his last fight. I thought Cain looked awesome in his last fight. Nobody's ever taken this kid in the deep water before. Czech Congo did. He got hit with big shots that would have knocked a lot of heavyweights out, and I like how he reacted to getting hit with those big shots. And you want to just talk about raw strength and power? He was picking Czech Congo up by the waist from the ground over his head and slamming him. He's the real deal, man, and he looked awesome tonight.
Dana, with Cain's performance, first of all, how impressed were you with how Cain came out and dominated Ben Rothwell? And second, I asked on Thursday if the winner would get a shot possibly at Carwin Lesnar. Did Cain really move up the ladder with this fight?
Yeah, he did. In his last two fights. I think in his last two fights he's looked awesome. He's, like I said before, he put on a great show. And it sucks to, train as hard as you do and do as well as he did to get booed at the end of the fight because the ref stopped the fight in a goofy way, But, yeah, I think he looked great. Is he ready for a title shot yet? I don't know. We haven't made that decision. I get asked these questions right after the fights and, so much chaos goes on behind the scenes that you're dealing with, and I really haven't thought about it yet. And plus, you got to understand, this he looks great and everything else, but he's got 7 fights.
Question for Cain. Were you surprised at how dominant you were against Rothwell? He's got a lot more experience, and he's a good fighter.
I think so. Especially with my takedowns, I just felt like he would defend a lot more, and yeah, I think just watching past films and just improving on what I've been doing and just working on what I need to work on has really come around.
What's next for Ben, Dana?
I don't know. I don't even know what's next for him.
Is for Cain. In some of the pre-fight talk, it seemed a little bit like Ben was kind of dismissive of you because you only had 6 fights. Do you feel that he looked past you a little bit?
No, I don't think he did. With the experience that he's had, he knows how to train for specific fights, and I just think I was just a better guy tonight.
And the same question for Dana. In the pre-fight, Ben had said, like I said, talked about Cain only having 6 fights. Do you think he looked past Cain a little bit or underestimated him?
No, if you look past Cain Velasquez, maybe you did before the Czech Congo fight. You definitely don't after you saw him in the Czech Congo fight. So no, I don't think anybody's going to come in against Cain Velasquez and not take him seriously, especially where this kid, believed that this was his destiny and wanted this fight so bad and wanted to win.
And I'll ask a question of Shogun Hui now that he's here. Shogun, can you elaborate on your thoughts about the decision? Obviously very controversial, and where you go from here.
Maurício, você pode falar pouco sobre a decisão? Foi uma decisão controversa. O que você pensa disso e qual o próximo passo?
A cada round que eu lutava, o meu corner ia me orientando e falando que eu estava vencendo rounds. Então, no último round, eu achei que estava vencendo a luta, então tava com o resultado garantido já, então eu fiquei mais tranquilo. E, na verdade, todo mundo que eu conversei aqui achou que eu ganhei a luta. Então, no meu ponto de vista, eu achei que eu ganhei. Então, acho que luta é luta e... né?
Well, I feel like I was able to use my strategy well on the fight, to do a good fight, and my cornerman was telling me that I was winning the fight, so that's why I didn't press the action so much in the final round, because I felt like I was winning. And everybody that has spoke to me after the fight has told me the same, that they thought that I won the fight. So what can I do? I mean, a fight is a fight, and it's very disappointing.
Dana, over here to your right. Even though you guys don't have official control over it, do you have any plans to lobby harder for changes in referees or education of judges?
You have no idea. We've hired Mark Ratner, who's the most respected man in the business when it comes to that stuff. And I'm serious. It drives me crazy when these guys put so much time and work and effort into training for these fights and going out and fighting like that and then not getting the right call. But I say this all the time, no matter how good we get it, no matter how perfect it is, look how long football's been around. In baseball, there's always bad decisions and bad calls. But the answer is yes. We're working hard to try to get better referees and get better judging and make sure that this doesn't happen. It's disheartening.
Do you feel like possibly a movement away from round by round scoring and to full fight scoring could help? Or,
God, I don't even want to think about that. I mean, I don't even know how to fix, the round by round scoring or how this thing should be done. There is a system in place right now, and it's just about. I mean, with me, everybody can watch a fight and look at and see who's when momentum turns and when guys are landing more and. I just don't see how these guys don't see what everybody else sees. You know how many times I've been on the set of The Ultimate Fighter? We're all like, all right, we're going to a final round. They're like, no, the other guy won 2 rounds to nothing. You know, it happens all the time. It's a tough thing right now. You know, and believe me, because of all the old, you know, I used to be that guy when I was watching boxing. I used to go, "Oh, Don King fixed this fight," and I used to say all that stuff too. And I'm sure that's what a lot of people think when they see a fight that doesn't go the way it goes in the UFC. But the reality is, I'll tell you the truth, exactly how I felt about a fight, whether I thought it was good or bad, or who won or who lost. And you know, we have absolutely no say. They could give a shit what I think about it.
Question for Cain over here. Congratulations, first of all. You got a big response from the LA crowd. Can you talk a little bit about what that meant to you? I think it's the first time I've noticed you get a reception like that. And also, Dana's been hasn't committed anything, but do you feel ready for a title shot, or would you want more experience?
I know I need to get better, but you know, I came in the sport to be the champion. I want that belt, and you know, whoever wins between the fight of Lesnar and Carwin, that's what I want. And you know, the crowd today was awesome. Ever since the first press conference we've had, it was, you know, I felt really good to be here, and just felt like a second home with all the people behind me.
Dana, would you hold this decision against California and not wanting to come back here?
No, absolutely not. Dude, if that was the case, we wouldn't be anywhere. We'd be, I don't know where we'd go.
Shogun? You know, obviously, the big thing right after the fight is, will there be a rematch? Is that something that immediately comes to your mind, or do you not even have a second to think about that yet?
Com certeza eu penso, o Dana aceitando e o Lyoto aceitando, eu luto com ele a hora que ele quiser, o dia que ele quiser, no lugar que ele quiser.
Of course, I'm thinking about a rematch all the time ever since the fight was called. And if that's Dana's wish and Lyoto's wish, I'll fight him anywhere, anytime, wherever, whatever. It's just a matter of people wanting to put the fight together.
Did he say anything to you? I missed if there were any words exchanged after the fight. Did he say that, yeah, we have to do this again, or did you guys not talk much right after?
Lyoto falou alguma coisa para você depois da luta e te ofereceu a revanche, ou vocês não conversaram nada depois da luta?
Não, não conversamos nada não. Nem vi ele depois.
No, we didn't speak at all. Only thank you, good fight, and that's it.
And since you feel like you won this fight and a lot of people would agree with you, would there be any change in game plan, or would you just come back with the same thing because you felt like it worked against him?
Muita gente acha que você ganhou, imagino que você acha que você ganhou também. Você mudaria o jogo, a tática para lutar com ele de novo, ou lutaria da mesma forma?
Não, acho que todo mundo acha que eu ganhei a luta, então faria a mesma coisa.
Well, I think everybody thinks that I won the fight, so I will do the same strategy and do the same and win it and hopefully get the win.
Question for Shogun to the right here. I wonder if you can elucidate on what your strategy was. It seemed like the kicks were very effective, and Machida had been so elusive, and you were the first guy really to hit him consistently. Can you talk about what you saw that maybe made him available to be hit more than he'd been in the past?
O que você pode falar pouco mais sobre a sua estratégia, entrar em detalhes, porque parece que os chutes na perna estão funcionando muito e o Lyoto sempre foi cara que controlou a distância e nunca foi acertado, e você conseguiu que isso funcionasse. Pode entrar em detalhes do porquê e como você fez essa estratégia?
O Lyoto é cara duro que eu e minha equipe estudamos o jogo dele já há mais de 5 meses atrás, já estava nas lutas deles. A gente estudou o jogo dele, todo mundo tirou a sua opinião, a gente chegou numa conclusão e começamos a treinar em cima disso. Então acho que a estratégia deu certo, mas infelizmente eu sou feliz com a minha performance, mas não com o resultado. Então acho que eu fiquei feliz com a minha estratégia para a luta.
Well, Lyoto is a very tough fighter, and we have been watching him and paying attention to his fights, studying his fights for like 5 months, and we have been, my team and I, watched a lot of his tapes, talked a lot, and we came to the conclusion and agreed on a strategy that we thought would work. And I think I was able to implement the strategy well enough, and I'm very happy with my performance, but I'm very disheartened with the results, so that's it.
Question's actually for Anthony. Another impressive knockout at 170. Now, you mentioned that your injury kind of played into your weight issues. How do you really feel about keeping it at 170 and be able to make weight, and how far you feel you are along as far as in the division, as far as getting a shot, or what your timeline is?
My weight is fine. You know, like I said, I had that injury, and it really held me back a little bit from doing what I needed to do, and I got out of shape. But that's nobody's fault but mine. And as far as, you know, whatever else you just said, it's just whenever I get the chance, I guess I get it, you know.
Congratulations on the win. And also, in college, you know, you had to wrestle against a lot of guys who were, you know, 270, 280, a lot bigger than you. And in MMA, this is probably the first, like, really big guy that you've gone against. I mean, do you feel that your power and your wrestling technique, as far as fighting bigger guys, has improved? And how does that make you feel going into the fact that if you go against Carwin or Lesnar, you're going against a guy who's going to have 25, 30 pounds on you?
Just, you know, with my wrestling background, I've always competed against bigger guys. You know, wrestling was the weight class was 285, so guys would go in like weighing 290, almost 300 pounds. You know, I've been, you know, the guys I train with now are that big, so I'm just used to it. You know, this is the weight I've chosen to fight at, and I mean, I don't feel like I need to cut down or anything. So this is what I'm gonna do.
I don't mean cut down. I mean, but do you feel like that that now you're a superior wrestler than when you were in college, and your control and all that is that you've improved in that aspect of the game, and you're going to be better equipped or more confident against bigger guys than even in your college days?
No, I think, you know, in college I've always wrestled against bigger guys, and it's no different now. You know the weight class is 265, so guys that can come in heavy. I think I'm, you know, right in the middle, but I feel good at this weight.
Two quick questions. One to Lyoto. Do you think you won the fight? And Dana, when you hear the fans boo, right over here, Dan. When you hear the fans boo your champion, your main eventer, like that after the fight, what goes through your mind?
That sucks. You never want to hear people booing the main event. You know, it's unfortunate, and I'm sure, you know, that's why I truly believe. I think this will be a good rematch. I think they're both going to come in and not make the same mistakes they made in this first fight. They're going to come in and each one of them is going to try to win decisively.
Lyoto, do you think you won the fight, and do you think he deserves an immediate rematch?
Nós temos 3 juízes na luta, né? Então não foi eu que decidi a luta. Os árbitros decidiram a luta e a contagem de pontos foi essa.
He said there's 3 judges, and all 3 judges had a unanimous decision that he won the fight. So he wasn't the one who called the fight. The judges were.
My question is for Lyoto. Lyoto, were you 100% for this fight? There was some notice of you wrestling with a tissue, I guess, before. And were you 100% for it?
Tava 100% para a luta, mas tem um jogo também, tem todo um lance, né? Então nem sempre a gente consegue desenvolver do jeito que a gente quer.
I was 100%, but sometimes, you know, when you get in there, your strategy doesn't always work exactly like you plan it to, and it just, you know, I would have liked to perform better, but you know, it happens sometimes.
What would you do differently if you had a rematch with Rua?
Não, agora eu vou voltar para casa, né, e estudar toda a luta que passou, e aí vou botar uma outra estratégia em cima, né?
I'm going to go back home and watch the fight, and you know, when we fight again, I'll have a different strategy and a different plan.
This is for Lyoto, over here to your left front row. I wanted to ask him about the boos. Did that kind of what did you feel about that?
A gente está ali, tá sujeito a qualquer coisa, né? Então, lógico que a gente sempre quer agradar o fã, quer agradar todos os torcedores, mas prometo da próxima vez vou treinar mais para poder melhorar cada vez mais.
You know, every time you go in there, you know, you always want to try to make the fans happy, and it's a little depressing when the guys don't cheer for you and they boo you, but it's just going to motivate me to train harder, and I can guarantee you I'm going to put on a better performance next time.
When he looks back to May, when he beat Rashad Evans and won the belt, can he compare the feelings? Did the way that things ended kind of almost ruin the experience, or is it still a very happy night for him?
Which night?
Can you compare the night where he won the belt against Rashad?
Essa vitória em comparação com do Rashad Evans.
Olha, cada luta é uma luta para mim. Então, essa luta, a luta do Rashad já passou, essa luta também já passou. E é difícil comparar as lutas, né? Cada um tem um estilo diferente. E continuar treinando e esperar o próximo desafio.
Every fight is different. Rashad's fight's done and over with. Tonight's fight's done and over with. And it's just about looking at the fight, getting better, and I'm on to my next challenge.
Shogun, I actually had one more for you. The people who thought that you won this fight were giving you the later rounds. Did you feel more comfortable as the fight went on, facing Lyoto's style?
Confortável ao longo da luta e foi sentindo que foi crescendo na luta durante o decorrer dela?
Na verdade, o meu corner foi me avisando que eu estava ganhando os rounds, então ficando mais tranquilo e crescendo na luta, né? Então eu escutei meu corner e, do meu ponto de vista, eu venci os 3 últimos rounds, sim.
Well, my corner was telling me that I was doing good and winning the round, so that got me more motivated, more comfortable and relaxed in there. And in my point of view, I think I won the last 3 rounds of the fight, and that's my opinion.
Question for Lyoto and a question for Dana. Lyoto, how much impact were the kicks having on you? And you had that big welt on your rib cage. Were your ribs bothering you?
Não, aqui na costela realmente eu não senti muito, não. A perna eu senti um pouquinho, um lado da perna só, mas tá ok.
He said, I didn't really feel too much on the rib cage, but the legs, I started to feel on the inside of one of my legs. He definitely was, it was bothering me.
And Dana, I think if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time in more than 2 years that a light heavyweight champion has successfully defended the belt, right? It hasn't been switching, if I'm not mistaken, since Rampage lost it.
Yeah, I think since Chuck lost.
Well, because Rampage had one defense, right, against Dan Henderson, if you consider that, I guess that was a defense. And then,
right.
So, I guess my question is, what does that say about your light heavyweight division when you've gone so many times when this is over 2 years where you've had a successful title defense?
There's so many guys that are so good in that weight division. It's been that way for a long time, but, everybody was saying, this is the Machida era right now, and I knew how good Shogun was. Shogun is a great fighter who's been off for 2 knee surgeries, had a bunch of time off, and I knew what a good fight this was going to be. I knew it was going to be a tough one, and I knew it was going to be strategic, and it was everything that I thought it was going to be. Except, like I said again, like I said before, I'll say it again. That they should have pressed more at the end of the rounds and went after it and tried to either really pull out a win in the end of the rounds and make it an easier fight to score. It was a tough fight to score.
Dana, over here. Despite the fact that Lyoto retained his title, do you think that Shogun was also a winner tonight?
Yeah, it was, I think, I never saw the line, but people were telling me that Machida was a huge favorite in this fight. Huh? 6-1. There you go. It was people that just didn't know Shogun yet. And, Machida has been absolutely dominant in his performances, even before coming into the UFC. So, it's like I said, I love this rematch. I think it's a great rematch. Go ahead.
Do you think that other light heavyweights are sleeping a little easier tonight, or do they perhaps a little worse?
I don't think so, no. I don't think so. These guys are both very tough guys. That's why I was saying I've legitimately been excited about this fight. And I knew it was going to be a tough fight. I knew it was going to be good. The key was keeping Shogun busy and getting him, once his knee was healed and he knew it, keeping him busy and getting his timing and his wind and everything back. And I said, if you watch any of the interviews I said before this, I think we'll see the Shogun from Pride that'll be fighting Machida tonight. And it was.
Lyoto, you did press the action toward the end of the 3rd round, and I thought it was a pretty productive few moments for you. Why didn't you keep that